So we're going to go through the session today in kind of 4 buckets. One is how to prepare your mind and your goals for 2011, how to get set up, how to prepare. Secondly, it's important to talk about how our industry has changed and what you need to do about it. That's one thing that top performers always look at is what's been changing in our industry, how do I need to adapt to it, and what should I be doing differently today that I wasn't doing before. We're going to talk about building a business plan that's conducive for growth. One of the things I've noticed in our industry over the last several years is a lot of salespeople I've come across have an actual package of sales business that's not conducive for growth. And I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you what you need to do about it this morning. And finally, what I kind of call the golden nuggets of my presentation are some of the tools and strategies and methods that top performers use throughout the year that will help you grow your business. So if you hold on till the last part of the presentation, we'll have some real nuggets for you to take away from this. So that's what we're going to learn this morning. Okay, so first of all, there we go. It's very important, if you're a top producer, you already know this. If you're building your business, it's something you really need to understand. But the key is, what is your number, 12/31/2011? Over the holiday period that just ended, how many of you took time to sit down and build a goal or a plan for 2011 and actually visualize what your number is, 12/31/2011? Show of hands, how many people did that? It's so important. I tell you, that's one of the #1 things that's a takeaway from today, and I know you've heard it from every sales trainer that you've ever heard from, but the key is, I truly believe in the power of visualization. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you understand the power of visualization and how it works? How many of you read the book The Secret, the little book that talks about the power of attraction? You are what you believe. Natural things happen to you if you just live your life that way. It's the same way with setting goals. If you truly believe in your goal and you live it every day, you will naturally put things in your business plan, get up early in the morning, work on things that are very strategic to actually build your business because you're living it. It's almost an unnatural process, but it happens if you just visualize it and live it that way. So if you haven't read that, pick that book up. It's a good first quarter read. Secondly, I would also like to mention that another good book would be Wayne Dyer's You'll See It When You Believe It. Great book to read at the beginning of each year to understand the power of visualization and how that can help get you to your goal. So if you visualize that goal and you own that goal, you will basically have habits every day and every week of the year that will help you get to that goal. And if you live your life that way, you'll own it. The next thing you need to do is actually put that goal together in a goal sheet. I posted one that we use up here at Halo, and it's a blank sheet, but basically what we do every year is we take from our database the actual sales by month of each salesperson from the previous year and send that to them. So the top part of this would be each monthly number of booked sales that each salesperson hit, and then they can build their plan for growth every month. And if you don't have something like this, I'd be happy to send you ours as a blank template if you want to use it, but there are several types of things like these that you can get on, if you Google goal sheets on the internet, for instance. But the key here is it helps you to be able to break it down and look by month and by week what you need to do throughout the coming year. And that's so important because, you know, one of the things that I've noticed with salespeople is they may be up for the year in January, February, but then they forget about the huge April they had. And then April comes and then the numbers slide backwards. And we're always wanting to move forward. So it's very crucial to have a goal plan sheet and actually build it and post it and learn how to use it. In order to really focus on goals and a solid plan for 2011, one of the things that we need to do is look back at 2010. What actually has happened over the last year and a half? We've had this roller coaster from 2009 through 2010. At least the industry has, our company has. 2009 was down, 2010 was back up, and I think if the rest of you in this room and out there live, would agree that 2009 is great to have behind us. 2010 was a great year building. We're almost back to those 2007, 2008 year numbers, hopefully. In 2011, I believe is going to be a fantastic year for many reasons. But certainly I would categorize 2010 as a rebound year. The big orders came back. A lot of things started happening in 2010. Those of you that have program business, you probably saw program inventory starting to come off the shelves more in 2010, where a lot of moratoriums were put on by home offices in 2009. Let's not, order any product. So I think 2010 was great, and it will continue. We all know credit lines were tightened up quite a bit. If you're a small distributor, that might have affected you quite a bit. The banks and lending institutions tightened up the credit lines on both the distributor and the supplier side. Painful decisions had to be made in the marketplace for a lot of distributors out there. When sales are down, you have to make some tough choices, whether it's a smaller office, maybe some personnel or whatever. That impacted business in 2010. We saw consolidation on the distributor and supplier side quite a bit in 2010. See that happening again in 2011. But, to me, one of the keys is that a lot of people in our industry that succeeded in 2010, radically succeeded, really employed some new marketing strategies to move forward. And, if you always do the same things and you wake up January 1st of each year and you kind of go into business the same way that you did it the previous year without really evaluating, chances are you're not going to be as successful. A lot of people reevaluated the beginning of 2010, what went well in 2009, what didn't go so well, and adjusted. And I saw some very, very creative marketing plans, personal marketing campaigns, a lot of social networking that was weaved into selling. A lot of things happened, and I see that continuing in 2011. Also on the supplier side, uncertainty with proper inventory levels was really a problem, mainly in the beginning of 2010, but we saw it throughout the year. I'm sure most all of you are distributors in the room, and we saw inventory problems in 2010, no doubt about it. You had to check and see if your product was there many times when you had clients that wanted to produce orders. I think we're going to see that change in 2011. I think the suppliers are going to have inventory levels, but I would still recommend looking at that and checking for inventory. Overseas manufacturing, China factories are still in a little bit of flux. There's a lot of labor issues, there are quality issues. So again, one of the key points that we've learned through 2010 is make sure you're bringing in quality product. There are all sorts of things from safety and all sorts of things that have been going on with product manufacturing in China. So keep an eye on that and make sure that you're not always looking just at price, but you're looking at where the product is coming from and how it's made. We need to really keep an eye on these safety violations. The Shrek glass from McDonald's. Everybody says, gee, I'm glad that wasn't my order. But every time those bits of news come out, it really affects our industry dramatically. Congress looks at that heavily. And PPI has done a great job of having leaders in the industry, their committee called GRAC, that now is involved in Washington, D.C. And I would invite all of you to become involved more and help with the things that we need to teach our leaders in Washington on as it relates to how our industry is viable with watching out for product safety and the things that they're watching. That's going to continue in 2011. And raw material costs are certainly rising, no doubt about that. We've seen cotton, oil-based products. Real quickly, what's going to carry over into 2011? I think we're still going to see some price pressures in 2011 from the recession hangover. I think the business is back, but you probably saw a bit of a pinch on pricing in 2010, maybe more so. Companies might have gone on the internet a little bit more to shop pricing, just to keep you honest, a little bit more than you're used to. And hopefully that'll subside a bit, but I think there will be some pricing hangovers. Supplier inventory issues, I really don't think that's going to be a big issue, but you might want to ask some of the suppliers on the floor while you're out there this week, what is your plan? How are your inventories? That's one of the things that you might want to ask about. China labor and safety issue is going to continue. U.S. government regulations, we just need to keep a watch on that. There were things in the healthcare bill and different things that have impacted our industry. We just need to keep a watch out on that, and I know PPI is taking a leadership role in doing so. And finally, procurement contracts from large organizations are going to continue to impact our business. I know as a large company, we deal with a lot of large, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies out there. And, one of the things we've seen is a lot of that buying decision bubbling down to the purchasing department. And I'm sure many of you have witnessed that and are seeing that so many times they're commoditizing our business and taking some of that creativity out of it. We've got to find ways to work back towards the marketing area and really educate our customers from procurement and marketing on what our value is. And top producers are very, very good at doing that. We're going to touch on that here in a few minutes on how to kind of get away from the price pressures to keep you going. Whoops. Our business is changing, and again, this is something that you really need to think about heading into 2011. And this is a very, very important point. I'd like to maybe get a little participation here to see if you agree with me on this. An observation I've had over the last, I'd say 5 to 10 years, is that the distributor base in our industry has become more reactive rather than proactive. And what I mean by that is clients have now really adapted to putting promotional products in their budget. They like us, they want to purchase. So what's happened is the phone during good times is ringing, and we have opportunities from clients that come across our desk every day, and that's caused us to be very reactive for the clients that we service. I think you'd all agree with that. Now, when I started in this business in 1985, we would go out and bang on X number of doors a day. We would have ideas that we wanted to present, and we'd go through those doors and either have an appointment that day or come back on an appointment and make some movement.